the same time. Bigger.
Cool.
Bigger. Cool. Hi, everybody. This is Stacy from Stacy Sells Philly. And tonight I'm super dolled up because we are talking to someone from New York City.
That's
and
right.
I thought I had to get sophisticated and, put on a little lipstick, little lip gloss for you guys tonight. I hope everyone is doing fine. We try and go live twice a month on a Thursday and do some educational chat. And let me just take these off so you can see everything. Okay. And I like to talk and interview folks who are in the real estate business and just try and give everyone here who are my listeners and wonderful followers an opportunity to hear and learn some things that I hear and learn. So tonight we're talking with Malcolm Lewis Adams, and he is an associate broker in New York City. And I wanted to bring someone on from New York City because we go live on Saturday mornings. And I thought, hey, come on, hey, we got to go to New York one day. One Saturday, we're going to New York and we're going to do a walkthrough of a beautiful brownstone or something like that, whatever New Yorkers have over there, because we don't know what they have over there. So we're going to talk to Malcolm here in a second. If you have any questions for Malcolm, please, you guys know what to do. Put it in the chat box. Hey, Sharon, how are you doing? And make sure that it's addressed to me or it's to Malcolm. I can always ask Malcolm anything you have a question on. And really, what are we going to talk about with someone in New York City? There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about. So I want you guys to understand there's a direct correlation between the major cities that are within 2.5 hours from us and Philadelphia. That's the first thing. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is that we want to talk to Malcolm because we want to understand how he's so successful. Because he's out there beating it. He's getting it. He's making that shmoney. So he is the one. And if you know someone in the New York area who needs, hey, Aunt Cookie, my Aunt Cookie.
Hi, Aunt Cookie.
Live in Brooklyn. Used to live in Brooklyn, just like I used to live in Brooklyn. You might know someone who is interested in buying in the New York City and surrounding areas. All right, so let's bring Malcolm on and let's chat with him. And you guys know, as usual, I am still learning how to use the technology, but I think we're going to be good today. Yeah, there we go. Up close and personal.
Awesome.
So Malcolm, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate it. Appreciate the love.
Absolutely. We in Philly, we love, well, I'm going to speak for myself. I love New York. Okay, I love New York. So let's talk about this. New York is about 2.5 hours. New York City is 2 hours, 2.5 hours from us, door to door. And New Yorkers, are buying in Philly. They are absolutely buying in Philly. And this can impact our home values. It could impact our quality of life for good or bad, for however you'd like to see this. But New Yorkers like Philly, okay? I read an article just recently how New Yorkers are coming to Philadelphia to live in co-share accommodations. Now that people can live almost anywhere that they want to, they're picking places similar to New York, kind of. Like, we like to think we're similar to New York, I guess. But we also want people to come to Philadelphia and enjoy Philadelphia for what Philadelphia is, okay? We are the city of brotherly love, of music here. Gamble and Huff music. We are a special city, right? It's very special. So what is your opinion? Do New Yorkers buy in Philly?
Absolutely. I have partners that buy in Philly. To backtrack a little bit, the acquisition cost, the purchasing costs in New York City in general could be high. And so you have to be a real player to buy in New York. The carrying costs are more, the taxes are higher. So oftentimes when people want to start fixing and flipping, they'll go to markets like Philly, Atlanta, where the acquisition costs are smaller. You can go to Maryland, and for the same, here I'm doing a fix and flip, and it cost me $1 million to buy it. And you still got to put, $600,000-$700,000 into the renovation. So it's not really a fix and flip; it's an investment that you're holding, renovating.
Wait a minute. $1 million.
Yeah, the acquisition cost can be, sometimes we can get them cheaper. My first property, this was a number of years ago. My wife and I bought the first property, and we got it for $350. A four-story brownstone that we got for $350. And
you could buy like 7 houses in West Philly for 350.
I know.
That's not true.
Well, no, but the thing is, I mean, it all has checks and balances because
Right.
the reason, it's higher here, the appreciation happens better. Like I have a cousin of mine who bought a beautiful home, and it just outranked every home that anybody in the family had. And he was in Atlanta, Georgia, and it had like a formal dining and an informal dining. It had
Oh, wow.
it had like a formal kitchen and like a chef's kitchen. It was just bananas. And he spent maybe under 300,000 for the property.
Oh, wow.
And then 7 years later they had to sell it, and they sold it for like 320. I mean, there had no appreciation in the property. Whereas I told you I bought one of the properties we bought for 350. I mean, we had to put like $600,000 into it over the course of time, but it appraised for $2 million after about 15 years.
Wow. So the appreciation, it might be greater in your area than it is in ours. And to let you guys know that Philadelphia and the surrounding area sort of lagged a little bit behind everybody else nationally. So after the crash in 2008 and the housing crash, we really weren't suffering too bad, right? Because our house prices were very low in the first place. But then our prices started to creep up. So you guys know that right now, city of Philadelphia, West Philadelphia, I mean, all over Philadelphia, Southwest Philadelphia, the prices are outrageous.
Right.
So people who are from Philadelphia, born and raised, they're looking at these house prices and they're thinking, who would buy a house in West Philadelphia for $200,000? And the truth is that there are people in Philadelphia who want newer homes, more modern homes, rehabbed homes, renovated homes, and they're willing to pay that price. And some of the influx of that money to make that happen has come from New York, has come from other places besides New York, besides Philadelphia. But it does improve our quality of life. I want you guys to know that. What I'm seeing in West Philadelphia is that these homes are being rehabbed by some, and they are being purchased and owned by people who are from Philadelphia. So just think about that for a minute. It's okay to have someone from the outside come in and renovate, rehab, but really the people who are buying and living in those properties are those who are from West Philadelphia. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and your career path, in case someone on here is interested in being a real estate investor at your level and being a real estate salesperson or associate at your level, associate broker at your level. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, one of the reasons I love real estate is that people that are in the business are from all walks of life. They're from everywhere. So, I was an art director. You and I met in college.
Yes.
A number of years ago. I'm not going to disclose how many years ago, but it was a long time ago. And I graduated as an art director, graphic designer from college, and had a very successful career doing that. And I did that for about 24 years. I stayed and it was very, I was in publishing for a long time. I was in fashion and apparel and marketing. And I just got frustrated. I was marketing and packaging for other people's ideas and things and getting a good, decent salary, but I wasn't getting any of the upside.
Right.
You didn't get any of the merchandising or marketing or any of the licensing on the back end. Right. So I started getting frustrated. I sort of hit a glass ceiling in the business. And I had already made my first purchase, which is a 4-story brownstone. We were just buying it. We bought it as an investment, but it was our home. And then oh my goodness, we bought 4 stories. We sacrificed. We didn't have kids at the time, my wife and I. We lived in 1 floor and rented the other 3.
Wow. That's the way to go. That's the way to go. So the kids call that house hacking now.
Exactly. And what was crazy about it, the thing that really helped me, really pushed me over the edge is I was like, we're living for free.
Exactly.
The rental income.
Which finger can you see? Exactly. Yeah. And people are doing that. We're seeing the gurus on Instagram and Twitter talk about how to house hack. Right. And it's all over the internet, social media, how to house hack. And absolutely, it's perfect. And by the way, if you're interested in such a thing, you can buy, as a first-time home buyer, a 2-family home here in the Philadelphia area for a little bit less than $200,000, live in 1 unit and rent out the other one. That's called house hacking. Right. And then once you and your family are financially stable or at a different level, whatever level you're trying to achieve next, then you can rent out the whole place.
Right. And get the next place, which is what we did. That's exactly what we did. And we sacrificed, like house hacking requires a little bit of sacrifice.
Yes.
You know, when you're working and you're moderately successful, you really start to spend. You get 2 cars and you get the bigger house. You know, and my
Wow.
and I at the time we had 1 car and we lived on 1 floor, and that was the unrenovated floor because we could only afford
Exactly.
to renovate the other floor. So the tenants were living better than we were living, but we were living for free. And then over time, we were able to renovate the whole building, and then we bought the building next door. And
Wow.
right next door, exactly, another 4-story brownstone. And then now we're living in the triplex. We're renting the 4 units out over there. There are 2 units over here. And so that's how we did it. But it took a lot of sacrifice. And it took.
I mean, and that's the thing,
That's
ladies
it.
and gentlemen. You know, real estate over purses, real
Right.
estate over the fancy cars, real
Right.
estate over them crab legs. Okay, let
Right.
me just tell you, real estate over everything, because
Absolutely.
it is an investment that is worth having at
Right.
every single level. And
Right.
it could be what Malcolm's doing in Brooklyn, or it could be right here in Philadelphia. So
Absolutely.
don't pass up the opportunity for a home ownership. So let me ask you, home ownership and real estate investment. So let me ask you, have you seen a change in who is owning, and are more, they say millennials are the #1 folks trying to buy right now. So are you
Right.
seeing a lot of young folks trying to buy?
Absolutely. And it's important. You know, we need to start thinking more long term. A lot of times, especially millennials, they think it's so short term and they're trying to see how quickly they can get a return on any investment that they make. And
Okay.
real estate isn't like that. And particularly in Philly and New York in particular, we're getting a lot of young people buying. There's a beautiful trend that's happening here in New York because the acquisition cost is so high. It's called co-buy,
Oh,
this is a fascinating concept. So most people are used to buying, either buying with your parents or you buy with your significant other, with your wife. But you can buy with an investment partner. You can buy with a person that's just a friend, not an intimate partner. And you can co-buy, and we can write up the paperwork. So whatever your investment in determines your interest in the property. And you get the same benefits of like a married people buying, because I wouldn't have been able to buy the house by myself at the time.
okay. Okay.
My wife and I bought it together because we're 2 working people buying it together. But what if you and your best friend
That's right.
wanted
That's
to house hack? That's one of the
That's
things
right.
you do.
That's right. So this is awesome, Malcolm, because think about this, guys. You don't have to buy it on your own. You
Right.
don't have to be on this journey by yourself. If you don't have a significant other, use a best friend. Okay, go get your best friend and use her credit. I mean,
Right.
work
That's it.
together with someone. It could be your mom, it could be your brother, it could be your family. So, think about this ability to grow wealth in a much larger fashion. You
Exactly.
don't have to have all the resources yourself. Co-buy. I love it. Co-buy.
Co-buy. And I want to make sure that people understand too, because a lot of times when you say co-buy, people are like, I don't want to buy something with my friend or no. There, we can legally do the documents
Absolutely.
so that almost every contingency is foreseen. Somebody passes away, there's a plan for that. There's someone hates the other person, there's a plan for that. How we sell, how the first person may have the right to buy you out. All
Okay.
kinds of scenarios can be. It actually is even better than marriage, because sometimes marriage can get real messy.
It's hard to get out of.
It can be cleaner. It can be cleaner. So we're seeing a lot of that from millennials. A lot of parents. This is a great thing, and this happened with you and I while we were in college. And I intend to do this with my kids. But all of us had to pay. If you go away on college, a lot of times, and this is big in Philly too, a lot of kids live in the dorms, right?
Yes.
Now, the dorms cost, that's an expense. I mean, you all know colleges cost you 50, 60 grand a year to go to college.
Right.
A lot of parents are investing with their kids. So my kid goes to Penn State. Instead of the kid goes to the dorm, we buy a home, or we
Right.
buy a condo, and
That's
we
right.
co-buying with our kid. And the kid can rent the rooms to his roommates.
Okay.
And you're house hacking. And the parents, instead of it being an expense for you to live in the dorm, it's an investment in which they get a return 4
Yes.
or 5 years after you graduate.
Yes. And let me tell you, Malcolm, Widener University is in Chester City, and you can buy a 3-bedroom home within walking distance of the university for $100,000.
There it is. There it is. And that's what I'm talking about.
So if there's anyone out there who's interested in this type of purchase real estate investment, call me, call Michael, Malcolm, let's talk about it and
Right.
let's see what's out there. Let's talk about your real estate investment portfolio, okay? Because we should all have a way to make money off of our investment like this.
Exactly.
And this includes, I would say this probably includes every form of house hacking, whether you live in it and then sell it, whether you live in a portion of it, rent out a portion of it, whether you're doing Airbnb and some other forms of house hacking are all good for first-time home buyers. And that way you mitigate your costs.
Absolutely.
And you can have something that you can give to the next generation and generations after that.
Absolutely.
So Malcolm, tell us, we understand you're an associate broker. So what exactly is an associate broker?
Well, there are three stages in when you become a real estate professional. And the first one is a salesperson. And the concept is that salespeople actually don't have the authority to buy and sell. You're actually granted that authority from your broker. You have to be sponsored by a broker. And so a broker, generally somebody with much more experience, selling experience, much more knowledge of the market, and they can sponsor people in order to do sales on their behalf. So that's what a salesperson is. And then you have a broker. A broker is like what I am, a person who can open his own office and hire other brokers to work with them and do sales in a particular market. An associate broker is that person that sits in the middle. So I have all the experience. If I want an office, I can do an office, but I'm not interested in doing that. So I subordinate my license under another broker.
Right. Okay.
And I'm sort of like, you would have a sales executive. So you're like a senior salesperson. I was in the Marine Corps for a long time. I was an art director and the boss for a long time. I've managed a lot of people. I am tired of managing other people. It's
okay, we get it.
Herding cats, you know what I'm saying? Like the worst. So I rather, real estate is one of those businesses where you can grow with a team, but you can also be very insular and be about your own business. Okay. And that's what I'm about. I'm about my own business now.
All right. So you guys heard it from Malcolm from New York City. Fancy New York City with my fancy dress and my red lipstick tonight.
Oh, I love it.
So the deal is this. If you're interested in becoming a real estate professional, Malcolm just laid it out for you. Real estate salesperson, an associate broker, and a broker. And you can be your own boss. So not really your own boss, but you can be your own self, or you can be with a team if you're more comfortable with that. And you can be an investor. It's a great way to become a real estate investor, and you can help others. I mean, you could really make a difference in your community by being a real estate agent. I don't mean to candy coat it like this and be all sugary, but the truth is, it is the truth. You can identify opportunities in real estate for your family members and help them once you understand better the process. And I'm all about this, guys. So if you're interested in being a real estate agent, let me know. Just let me know. Come work with us. Come work with Malcolm in Brooklyn.
You can work with us. You said something that I really wanted to point out. Very important to note that real estate agents are independent contractors.
That's
so you are absolutely correct that you're your own boss. Now, there are guidelines in that, because if you subordinate your license to a broker, then you have to live under first of all the laws of the state, and then you have to live under the law of the guidelines of the broker. But if you don't like those guidelines, then you can go to another broker. You can hop as many times as you want. It is the most empowering thing to be an independent contractor in charge of your own destiny. Your effort and your energy determines your success. Your intelligence, how clever you are, how passionate you are, that determines your success. And that is something so empowering. That's the number one thing that drew me to this business.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That is so awesome. I want you guys to know that real estate agents are passionate. We love our work. We love the clients we work with, and we are a part of your team. So when you're on your home buying, your real estate investment purchasing journey, we are here as a part of your team, trusted team. So think of me as, that person who you can talk to and trust for all things real estate.
Your fiduciary, The most important person in the transaction is my client. And on the other side of the table, that agent is his client.
Right.
Her client. It's the most important thing.
I'm interested first for my client.
Right. Well, I'm saying everybody's self-interest. So I'm interested in my client. You're interested in yours.
Yes.
There's another thing I wanted you to point out that you said that was so important. The improvement of the neighborhoods. Now, you and I come from similar backgrounds, and we get a lot of people that look like us that complain about gentrification, complain about people coming into their neighborhoods. You're talking about neighborhood empowerment. Everyone needs a place to live. Every single person. There's only three options. Well, there's four. One is you own your own property, and then you control your own destiny. You rent somebody else's property, you pay down their mortgage. You live in your parents' house and you stay a dependent, or you live out on the street. You know what I'm saying? So you have to choose which one of those options are the best options for you. I suggest you own your own home, and in doing so, the number one, and most people don't realize this, the number one income source for most municipalities throughout our country, the number one income is taxes from homeowners. Taxes from homeowners.
Real estate taxes.
Real estate taxes. It is a pillar of the municipality. So that's why affluent neighborhoods have better schools. That's why affluent neighborhoods have better after-school programs for their children, better hospitals, better transportation, better roads, because affluent neighborhoods have higher home values. They pay higher taxes, and those taxes go directly into the municipality. So I suggest, and Stacy suggests as well, is that you participate in this. You create wealth and value in your neighborhood, and then you will be able to participate in the uplifting of your own neighborhood.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and I want you guys to understand it is absolutely possible. You are in control. You are in control. You are in the driver's seat. It is absolutely possible.
Absolutely.
So at every level of real estate, it is possible. And at every level, economic level. So if what you make is $40,000 a year, and I had a client recently made that much money, she just bought a house.
Right.
Because she wants a house for her and her family and her children.
Right.
Okay. And
Absolutely.
she trusted me on that journey. I'm telling you, and look, and if you have $1 million home to sell, please call me.
Call me. I'll get a license in Philly. I'll sell it for you.
Please call me at whatever level. Call me. Even
Absolutely.
if you just have a question, call me. I field questions by text and by phone all day, guys. All day. Friends, family to call me. I want you to come to me if you have a real estate question.
Right.
Okay?
I'll answer any questions, whether it turns into a sale or not. Call anytime, text anytime, send an email. You will get an answer. I will find the answer.
Right. I told a young lady today, do not let your ignorance keep you in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let fear keep you in the dark. If you have a question, find somebody who's going to give you the right answer, and keep asking until you get the right answer. Because if you stay in fear and ignorance, you will never get out of wherever you are right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And she said, well, I have a question. I said, well, what's your question? And she asked me a question, and I said, no, you don't have to do X, Y, and Z. And she said, I said, look, I did a live with a CPA. Go back and look at that Thursday live and find out the answer to your question. And she said, oh, I will. So, I mean, we need to ask as many, where's my fingers? Ask as many questions as you need to in order to get where you want to go. So you have the answers are the vehicle which gets you from not knowing to knowing and being successful.
Exactly.
I hate preaching, guys, but the truth is that
preach. I can hear the chorus.
There's so much real estate here in Philly.
Absolutely.
Guys. I go down the street that has 20 houses, 10 on each side, and a quarter of them are boarded up.
Right.
We know that there's property available out there. So it may not be a property that's boarded up that's right for you. May not be a property that's at sheriff's sale. Remember, sheriff's sale just started this past week in Philadelphia, online only, guys. It may not be your grandparents or your grandmother or your mother's home. There might be a property out there just for you. And it doesn't have to be that expensive. Right. I mean, I sell houses. I sold something just Tuesday for $30,000.
Right.
You guys have got to understand there's something for everybody here. And whether that's for you or not, and if you can act on that right now, it's for you to know. But just understand that I'm here for your journey. I'm here for your journey. Whether it leads to something or not, I'm here for your journey, because
Absolutely.
more people who have ownership of their homes, the better off we are in our community and our neighborhoods. Now I'm off my soapbox.
I love it. No, you're
I'm
absolutely
done.
right. And you said something earlier I want to emphasize too. There are programs, because I know some of your viewership is they're concerned about the ability to be able to own the home. There are programs out there. My very first purchase, my wife and I, our first purchase was an FHA mortgage. We put 3.5% down, and that property is worth $2 million now. Now that was 20 years ago. But we put 3.5% down. We bought it for 300, 400, somewhere around there, and it's worth about $2 million now. It took a long time, a lot of improvement, but that's where we're at, and it's fully rented, and it's cash flowing now. And so we bought that with a FHA mortgage. There are plenty of programs out there for people that need down payment assistance. One of my clients recently, she put down, they didn't even put down $20,000. They put down 19 and change. And I got them an FHA mortgage, and they bought a house for $550,000 in Queens. Beautiful home, 4 bedrooms, a finished basement, everything. Gorgeous, gorgeous home in a gorgeous neighborhood. I helped that family build legacy. And that transaction was so hard because we did it through COVID. It took us 8 months to close.
Wow.
8 months. Everybody's yelling at me, and everybody's mad, and the bank's mad. We had to do 2 freaking appraisals of the mess. But she's in that home now with her family, and they're starting their legacy.
Right.
So Stacy can do that for you in Philly. I can do that for you in New York.
Absolutely, guys. And let me tell you, I am quiet. I suffer in silence on behalf of my clients, because some agents let me have it, y'all. They just let me have it. But I'm a fighter. I'm a quiet fighter, and I am always looking out for my client's best interest. So I think we have chatted 27 minutes here. Mr. Adams, thank you so much.
No problem.
Again, this is Stacy Sells Philly, and I am always available for your questions and much, much more. I sell in the Philadelphia area, metropolitan area, so that includes the suburbs as well. So what else would you like to offer my viewers in understanding this current market? Because the current market is a little crazy, Malcolm. It's a little on fire and aggressive, stressful, and fearful.
Yeah, I actually felt a little guilt because everybody was suffering over the last year, and me included. But it was my best year in real estate ever.
Okay. All right.
It was like on fire, like that deal that I just described. I made multiple closings that went through the pandemic and did not slow down. Everybody anticipated eventually we would come out of it, so they moved forward with the transaction. Nobody pulled out. I think that it's a scary time, but this is the best time. Opportunities are made in chaos like this.
Wow, I love that. I love that. You heard that, guys. Malcolm says opportunities are made in chaos.
Absolutely.
So if there is an opportunity for you, it might be right now. I mean, interest rates are low and so forth and so on. So that's it. I love that as a parting saying. What was it again? Chaos?
Opportunities are made in chaos.
Okay. All right, guys. I want to thank Malcolm for coming on. And you have a family member. You want to give you an endorsement?
Oh yes. Well, I am my first cousin, Eric Adams. He's the current Brooklyn Borough President of Brooklyn, and he is running for New York City mayor. And I know you guys can't vote for mayor of New York, but it still influences. His policy influences your area too. Tax policy influences the money going back and forth. So keep him in your prayers. Support him. You can support him online. Visit me on at my Instagram at Malcolm Real Estate. Everybody friend me. I'm a season ticket for the Nets. So if you friend me, one lucky friend may get tickets to the Nets.
Oh, wow.
So
Listen to
hit
that.
me
Yo,
up.
we love that. We love that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We were just chatting with Mr. Adams here from New York City, a longtime friend and a schoolmate from Pratt
Absolutely.
Institute. And I just wanted to bring him on and just show you how just how wonderful he is and all the great things he's doing as an associate broker there in New York City, and just get his opinion about Philadelphia and New Yorkers in Philadelphia. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Talk to you
Take care,
soon.
guys.
All right.
Catch me online at Malcolm Real Estate. Bye.
Bye-bye. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll be back on in a couple weeks, and I hope you guys stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.